So we're going to draw some of these 3D shapes using pre-made areas of our screen, as well as some of these shapes using various commands that we find in the ribbon. So we're going to open up a brand new drawing page, and I'm going to turn off the grid first, but at the bottom, we can set our type of drawing screen, and I'm going to make sure I'm in 3D modeling. Most of us were in 3D modeling last time we drew, so it probably stayed there. To tell, if you look at your ribbon, it starts with the box, then goes to extrude. Anybody not have this ribbon up top? The other thing I'm going to change right away is where it says 2D wireframe here. I'm going to move it to shades of gray because I find it easier to see. We'll look at all these different visual styles at some point, but shades of gray makes it easy to see. And we're also going to switch from the top view to Southwest isometric, SW isometric. And this first box pretty much has a bunch of 3D shapes for us. So those 3D shapes are quick and easy to do, and they make the object fast. So for example, let's choose the first one, the box here. If I choose box, I can just click a few points and it makes a box. I can dictate the size, like if I go back to box and I click a start point, I can type in D and enter to get the dimensions. For example, in this case, I could make the dimensions 1 by 1 by 1, and it makes that shape of a rectangle. Doesn't look like 1 by 1 by 1 to me, so I'm going to try that again. Hang on. Box. Click, D, enter, length, enter. There we go. 1, enter, 1, enter, 1, enter. That looks better. So just check when you type D. It was prompting me to do length first, and I didn't tell it length. When you go to box and you click a start point, you can type L for length. And then after it does the length, let's type in 2 this time. Then it wants the width, which I'm going to do at 1. And then it wants the height, which I can do at 3. And it makes a box shape. Now the box is but one shape that it allows us to make. If we go back here, the next in line is the cylinder. So you can just draw it, or same thing with the cylinder. When you click, you can type radius, R enter or D enter. And then you can tell it the diameter and then the height, and it makes it to whatever size you want. So when we make our cylinder, I can click a point, type D for diameter, type 1, enter, and then my height could be 3 and enter. And there's the cylinder, that shape. Well, that's great if you want a box and a cylinder, but what if you need another shape? Well, let's check, see what they got. The cone. If I click, I get to make the base of the cone and then drag the height. If I made the cone and I'm mad at the size, I can click at it and these blue nodes show up. And I can click them and drag them to make them bigger or smaller. Or I can crank it taller or shorter. The cone. Then I'm going to go to the sphere. Dan, what shape do you think a sphere is?
Spherical.
Spherical. I draw it, it looks ballin'. Oh, that's a different term. Hey, never mind. That's still the sphere shape, right? So you can make that any size you want. I could take this cone, I could rotate it completely over, and I could move wherever my move command is. And I've got myself an ice cream cone all of a sudden. Oh my goodness. Anybody else like ice cream?
Yeah.
I don't like that vanilla stuff, but chocolate's pretty darn good. What? And if I just want to show the little scoop shape, watch this. I could go solid subtract. I could click on the solid, click on what I want gone, and it cuts out a little bowl shape in top. So this whole thing here makes pyramids, a wedge shape, or the torus, which a lot of people refer to as a donut because it's got a hole in the center. So what I want us to do is to take these shapes and make something. Make something with your shape. I made an ice cream cone a minute ago, but you could make a hat. I made a donut here that doesn't have much coloring to it. Try using these shapes to make something. Anybody want to name something we should try to make? What?
I think I'm gonna make Saturn, but you guys can make whatever you all want to make.
I don't mind if you draw Saturn, but this is an adult, a family show, so don't draw Uranus, the planet. Snowman's a good one, right? We could easily make a snowman quick by just going to sphere, and we can either copy the sphere just to the top, straight up. Now, the problem with this snowman is what? Looks like something my dog might have left instead of a snowman because it's all uniform shape. So if I click on the sphere, I can scale it by going to the center and going either bigger or smaller. I'm going to go 0.5 and it shrinks it down. The one below it, I'm going to scale as well, but this one at 0.75. Oh my gosh, it sort of looks snowman-y. I could then draw a cone like that, and it's supposed to be his carrot nose, but what's wrong with it right now? It's not going the right direction. 3D rotate, click, find the right rotational tool, and then when you move it, you can move it from the center to the center of the head. Now, the tough part now is I can't see it well. Oh, I can a little. See this? I could click and make it bigger. But not being able to see it, we could switch back to 2D wireframe, and it's easier to see our cube within the, or sorry, our cone within the cube. And you don't even have to make the nose bigger if you don't want. You could just move it forward. Yes.
What's the difference between shaded and realistic view?
Good question. Realistic allows you to add colors better. Mine doesn't show up overly well, but shaded just gives you tones of color. So if I were to go to realistic and click on my guy here and do R mat, and my realistic doesn't show up well with my screen. But when I get to R mat here, I could find something for him. Like I could go to, I don't know, plastic. We could make a plastic snowman like he's on your lawn, right? Problem is white won't show up with mine, so I'm going to go with this weird green color. And it just changes the color more accurately. You know what? Why am I going with the bottom in yellow?
Yeah, but could you try doing it? What does it look like on shades?
Let's check it. Just gives you a muted shade of them. Could you see the difference? Realistic, little lighter. Now, the reason yellow down low, there could be a lot of dogs in the neighborhood.